Okay, so today we need to go over how to write a sequence of transformations when dilations are included. Okay, so we have to write a sequence that is going to take our original, so A, B, C, D, onto this small guy here, A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Okay, so whenever a dilation is included, your first step is always going to be to dilate. Now, we first need to figure out what is the dilations factor that'll take this big one to the small one. So you're going to find a side length. Okay, so AB here has a length of 2, and you're going to find its corresponding side. So A prime, B prime now has a side of 1. Okay, so obviously to get from 2 to 1, we had to multiply by a half. Okay, so we're going to dilate the original, so A, B, C, D, using the rule x comma y, where you take your x, gets multiplied by a half, take your y, get multiplied by a half. Okay, so before we actually go and plot the in-between steps, so plot our original after the dilation of a half, we have to first list our coordinates of our original and our image to see where they're going to end up. So I don't see a lot of space here, so find the most space you can, and you're going to write A, B, C, D. So the original point of A looks like 4, 6. B looks like 6, 6. C looks like 6, 7, 8, 4. And D looks like 2, 2. Okay, so now what we're going to do is to take each of those original points, and we are going to cut them in half. Okay, so we're going to write A prime, B prime, C prime, and D prime. Okay, so half of 4 would be 2, half of 6 would be 3. Okay, so for B prime it would be 3, 3. C prime would be 4, 2. And D prime would be 1, 1. Okay, we have to plot those in between steps. So I'm going to go ahead and plot my primes. So A prime looks like 2, 3, so over 2, up 3. Oops. That's over 2. Oh no, I was right. Over 2, up 3 would be A prime. 3, 3, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 is going to be B prime. 4, 2 is going to be D prime. And, C prime. And D prime is 1, 1. Okay, so noticing this now, I can see that all we need to do left is reflect over the y-axis because my primes are the same distance away from my y-axis as the double primes. So we're just going to show reflect, and don't forget over your line of reflection, so over your y-axis. Okay, so A is 2 away, so A double prime is going to be 2 away. D prime is 1 away, so D double prime is also going to be 1. B is 3, 1, 2, 3, so we're going to go 3 past. And C is 1, 2, 3, 4 away, so C double prime is also going to be 4 in the opposite direction. Alright, that one was easy, so let's try another one. Okay. So looking at number 10, again the first thing I notice is that the sizes are different. So we're going to need to figure out what did I dilate by. Okay, so we're going to write 1. Let me move this up. Okay, so we are going to dilate A, B, C, D. And we need to figure out what did I multiply the x and the y coordinates by. Okay, so looking at my original, if I find side AB, it has a length of 1. A prime, B prime here has a length of 2. Okay, so obviously to get from 1 to 2 would be a scale factor of 2. Okay, so I'm going to show that I took my x and doubled it, took my y's and doubled it. Okay, again we have to figure out, okay, where is our larger quadrilateral going to be after the dilation of 2? So we're going to start by listing out the coordinates of the original. So I'm going to write, this will actually write, A, B, C, D. Okay, so A looks like 2, 3. B looks like 2, 2. C looks like 1, 2, 3, comma 1. And D looks like 1, 2, 3, comma 2. Okay, so I'm going to take each of these now and dilate it by 2. Okay, so A, if I take the x and the y, times it by 2 would be 4, 6. 2 times 2 would be 4, so 4, comma 4. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. Again, 3 times 2 is 6. 2 times 2 is 4. Okay, so I'm now going to take my images and I'm going to plot them. So A prime is 4, 6. Oops, where'd it go? And we're back. Okay. You are going to plot and label with your prime. So I have A prime. B prime is going to be 4, 4. C prime looks like 6, 2. And D prime looks like 6, 4. Okay, so now to figure out what to do next, I need to think about what other transformation do I clearly need to do to my images or my primes to get to my image. And when I look, I notice here that AB is a vertical line segment and its image is horizontal. So I'm going to go and I'm going to get this rotation out of the way because I know we all love rotations. So we are going to have to rotate, and we're going to rotate around the origin to keep it simple. And we're going to go 90 degrees counterclockwise. Okay, so take your paper and you're going to turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise, and you are then going to list your coordinates. Okay, so I'm going to find A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, and D double prime. Okay, so now the way that you are looking at your paper, it should look like this is the first, second, third, and fourth quadrant. Okay, so my image when I'm done is going to end up in that second quadrant. Okay, so to get to A prime, we had to go backwards 6 on the x, so negative 6, and then up 4. So A double prime is going to be negative 6, comma 4. B double prime, we had to go to the left 4 on the x-axis, and then up 4, so negative 4, 4. C, we had to go backwards 2, up 6. In D, we had to go backwards 4, again up 6. Okay, so you're going to take your papers, turn it back. Okay, so remember, we know that it's going to end up in our second quadrant, which is right here. Okay, so I'm going to go and plot the points of my double primes. So A double prime was negative 6, 4. So backwards 6, up 4. Plot and label. B double prime was negative 4, 4. C double prime was negative 2, 6. If anyone wants to get me a new stylus for Christmas, feel free. And last but not least, D double prime is negative 4, 6. Okay. Alright, now when I compare the double primes to my image, I notice here that it's facing the same direction, it's already turned the correct way, there's no reflection needed. Okay, so all I'm going to do now is slide my double primes right onto this guy here. So in order to do that, we know a slide is going to be a translation. So we're going to translate, and we're going to list our coordinate rule. Okay, so let's just pick a point. So let's pick B double prime. I'm going to have to go to the right one, so that's x increasing by 1, and then I'm going to have to move it down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I'm going to have to take the y coordinate and move it down 6. Alright, I'm going to check all of them. So right 1, down 6, 3, 4, 5, 6. A, right 1, down 6. D, right 1, down 6. So yes, all 4 points have to be moved x plus 1, y minus 6, and it matches up the image, my double primes onto the image perfectly. Okay, what you guys are going to do now is you're going to practice with number 11. If there's time, you're going to try number 12. When you get to about 7 minutes left of class, you're going to go back to your Google Classroom checklist, and there's a ticket out the door, so there's 4 questions on the bottom that need to be submitted by the time you leave. Thanks.